wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life, and we're inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal with locations all throughout Central and Upstate New York, 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, all there in Syracuse, New York. Of course, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and their newest location and drive-through location at the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at the Sweetheart Corner. So, very happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Today's show is Syracuse past and present. The past, Dee Brown, who played running back for Syracuse. The present, defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan, who's moving on to the 2022 NFL Draft after playing 4.5 years at Syracuse, granted that free year of eligibility due to COVID and everything that was going on with that. So very happy to have Dee on here in hour number one, and rounding out the end of hour number one, going into hour number two, we will have Kingsley Jonathan and round out the show with the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. So with that being said, let's bring the man in, Mr. Dee Brown. How we doing?
Hey, Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. And Dee, I mean, you and I have a lot to unpack here. Just broad scoping it, a broad paintbrush, I guess. Your overall thoughts on Syracuse football, just kind of maybe the state of the Syracuse football program from the outside looking in.
Well, for me, I never feel like it's from the outside looking in, man, because I bleed orange like many of my guys, and looking at the situation presently, it's just it's a little obviously disheartening because we're not accustomed to the losing and the struggles that we're having, and so we look to at least have progression and to be in the fight, and so it doesn't seem like we're in the fight anymore, and that we're constantly climbing an uphill battle. And so from afar, you do kind of wonder, what is going on and what needs to be done to get our program back to the elite level that it once was and can be again. So, I just, you feel for whatever the situation is, whether it's recruiting, whether it's talent, whether it's coaching, whether it's culture, whatever that may be. You feel for it, and you want to see it progress and continue. Well, start to improve in the way that we get back to those glory days of a winning culture. Whether we won or not, you knew when you played Syracuse that you were in for a fight, that you were going to go home a little sore, a little bruised up, and I just don't see that anymore as we watch presently.
So to you feel like the fight is gone when you're watching this team. You don't see that notion, like you said, that you played in and other people played in, which, hey, no matter who you are, no matter how good you are, if you're playing Syracuse, you're going to get a fight. We're going to make sure that you remember who we are. You're not seeing that essentially anymore. You're not seeing maybe the dog in it anymore.
Well, yeah, in today's terms, Dan, that's a great one, to the dog, and that's what you don't kind of see. The lopsided defeats are just kind of disheartening. I don't remember going through any of those or really seeing a lot of those. And when you start, that's when I kind of look at, and you can only see so much from camera views and things, but media this day does give you a great opportunity to almost feel like you're there in person, and so you do kind of watch in those struggling times. Whether it's a big fourth down that we gave up or a third down we couldn't convert to actually keep the chains moving to win a game, or we're getting blown out, but we still got a whole quarter and a half to go. I started watching just some of the mannerisms, some of the, the movements of the guy. You just kind of get a sense that the energy is not there. It's always there from a competitive standpoint in the beginning because we're true competitors, obviously. Yes, when you go out, no matter if you're 11-0 or 0-11, that each time you go out on the battlefield, you're going to go out there with the optimism that you're going to win and do well. But a lot of times when you're in a losing situation, when you start to begin to have difficulty early in the contest, now you're kind of going back to that culture and that defeated type of attitude, and you can kind of see it in your mannerisms and your communication or lack of communication. And that's what you kind of see. And so that's a part of being a dog, is understanding how to communicate, understanding how to turn things around right there in the midst of the chaos. And so you just don't see those attributes a lot. But doesn't mean that it's not there. It's not around the corner. It's just how do we channel that? How do we engage that part of our program?
And so for you, when you look at this and you talk about engaging, that part of your program, the student athletes, and where you can take them, speaking here with Syracuse Orange running back alum and NFL alum Dee Brown here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. Dee, for you to look at the transfer portal and know that in the ACC of 14 member institutions, Syracuse has the most players in the transfer portal transferring out of Syracuse after the 2021 season. They did have a pretty substantial list in 2020 as well, but they're leading the ACC right now, including 4 schools that have had coaching changes. Miami, Duke, Virginia Tech, and Virginia. They have less transferring out than Syracuse does, who's keeping their coach Dino Babers for year number 7. When I tell you that there's almost 20 players in the transfer portal, what does that tell you about culture? What does that tell you about what you're kind of talking about this morning?
Well, obviously, the numbers and analytics are giving you a great indicator of what could possibly be going on, and that's a bit concerning when you put it in those terms, Dan. As far as having that many players in the transfer portal, now let's understand. I too am a coach as well, and I understand the angles in which this whole transfer portal is occurring and happening, and it's kind of ruining college football. It really is, and it's making it hard for high school kids to really get an opportunity. And so, it's just a phenomenon. This transfer portal is just a big phenomenon. It's a fad that's going on, and kids are taking advantage of it. So it is overpopulated. So from that standpoint, Syracuse is no different, because you have a lot of, if you look at the total of people in the transfer portal, it's astronomical, and it's unbelievable, because maybe 20% of those kids are going to actually find a home, and the rest of them, what's going to happen? So, I think from that standpoint, Syracuse is just like the rest of the nation. But when you look at specifically in the ACC, talk about how we've had a handful of new coaches, and obviously, with new coaches, people have doubt and people want to, move on, and those things kind of transpire normally, and that's you expect that. But then when you look at the fact that, like you say, Dino is in year 7, here we are leading our conference in transfer kids who want to go into find another home. It just it questions the culture. I'm not saying anything about the culture because I don't know the actual, the right adjectives to use to describe it. But when you look at the things that are happening, it does make you question what is going on. Why is a winning attitude not enough? A winning culture not enough? A building, being a part of a building situation. Not enough to keep our kids there. What's happening on the campus? What's happening in the locker room? In our individual position rooms. What's happening in the team room? What is the culture? What's happening with our kids that at the end of this, their season, the first thing they're thinking about is leaving, and you got to understand that's affecting them during the season, especially in the latter part of the season, because they didn't just now start thinking about transferring. They were talking to their folks and everybody before then during the season about it. Yeah. And so, it takes away from, how productive we really can be. And so you got to ask yourself, what's going on? What is the mental health of our program, and why are the thoughts not good thoughts, but thoughts of doubt? And so you have to get to the bottom line of what's going on. You have to take that seriously. You can't just look at it and say, oh, well, that's just who we are. Whoever the powers to be really have to look back at that and kind of, go through the program with a sense of fidelity, but you got to go through the program and understand what's going on so that we can get a chance to have some improvement.
Yeah, and for me, to look at this, like you said, to try and figure out what's going on with that, and different changes and whatnot. But you got a coach who's still there. You have a coach who is going into year number 7, so there should be a culture that's built. They should know what to expect. They should know what's going on. But they've changed offensive and defensive coordinators kind of like underwear at times, and seeing that consistent. Normally, when you see a team losing and the head coach changes their coordinator, what typically happens in that sense is somebody went to the coach and said, hey, we're going to fire you. And then they said, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get rid of one of my coordinators. Give me a chance. And so they got a chance to get rid of one of them and like offensive and then defensive or both at the same time. And it buys them a year or two. Well, Dino's coordinators have consistently been changing. Mike Lynch was a co-offensive coordinator. He was demoted to running backs coach. Sean Lewis was a co-offensive coordinator. He's the head coach at Kent State now. Then you have other people. Sterling Gilbert just came in, and then they sent him out packing. Different guys coming in and out of this rotation. And then before Tony White at defensive coordinator, it was Brian Ward. So we've seen a change there. We've seen that under Dino Babers, his coaching staff, I believe, from year 1 to year 7 now, has never stayed 100% the same, either because a coach got fired or a coach decided to leave. His entire personnel staff of actual coaches, there's only 2 left from the original staff from year 1, which is Nick Monroe, who helps out with defensive backs, and Mike Lynch, who's the running backs coach who I mentioned before. Outside of that, Sean Ettinger and then the Whitkey family, both of them are there. But the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, special teams coordinator have all changed, and a bunch of position coaches have changed or been fired. A defensive line coach, wide receivers coach, quarterbacks coach, and so on and so forth. When you see an inconsistency in staff from year 1 all the way through, what can you say about that? As a coach, is that just life, or does that concern you that the staff has not stayed complete from year 1 to year 7, even for just a year? And a bunch of these coaches that we've seen recently, they have 1 or 2 years they get fired, or 1 or 2 years and they leave. Their wide receiver coach, Terrence Samuel, didn't even spend 365 days in Syracuse, and he's in Kansas now.
Well, that's concerning, Dan, because, hey, listen, we all understand that everyone wants security and stability. You don't want to have that much change to have to adjust to on an annual basis. That's obviously that is concerning. I mean, but again, it's part of what you asked. You said, well, is that just today? Yeah, that is today's game. If you're not happy, you leave. Nobody is being taught or nobody's listening and sticking around, fighting it out, toughing it out, so to speak. Seeing it through, so to speak. No one's preaching that anymore. So once you have an opportunity, either you have an opportunity and you take it, or you're upset and you leave. That's kind of what, as a coach now, you gotta have to, go against every year. You know what I'm saying? The temperament of your kids, because they don't. If they don't like it, hey, besides the starters, you can lose everyone. And if the starters don't like something or get upset about whatever playing time, another opportunity, they leave. And so that is today's game. With all the coaches leaving, though, you got to also see it from this standpoint, Dan. That's going to hurt, because that is reality, what I just spoke of. But it's really going to hurt recruiting because, again, I said everyone wants what? I said security and stability.
Yeah.
And kids, when you're talking to their parents and you talk on the phone and you get on the Zoom call and you FaceTime them and you go to their house and do all those things, they want, they're looking at you in all those circumstances. That's security. That's stability. But then when, a lot of these, parents and households are coming very well educated on what to look for, what questions to ask when it comes to this recruiting process. So that information wasn't really available, a while ago, but it is right now. So as long as you can just follow the template, you'll get an idea of what programs are very good for your kid and what's not. And so when you start looking into it yourself and you see the amount of turnover, as you said, on the coaching staff, then from a parental standpoint, and then from an athlete's point of view, you say, I don't know about that. Yeah, Coach Dino has been here. Coach Dino has been here, but my coach per se, my position coach has changed 3 years out of 7 years. So this guy that I'm getting comfortable with, who I'm tweeting with and having a relationship with, may be gone in a year or two. You got to look at that. And so some kids and some parents are going to make their decision based off, okay, the relationship that I have with my position coaches, and now they're gone.
Right.
And when they look at it, and these things are public record, and when you see the change, You see the constant change in what's happening. You're losing out on the possibility of getting the type of kids that we need to turn this program around. So it affects a lot of more things than just, okay, we can't get any stability on the offensive side, defensive side, special teams coordinators, they're always leaving. It's in the system that we're bringing in, it's hard for these kids 18, 19 years old because, there are some great high school programs out there that are really teaching our kids, but we got to admit there are some horrible high school programs out there that are just winning because of athletes. So now when they get to the college level, you really have to teach now, okay, let's get comfortable. Well, I can't get comfortable as a quarterback because I have a new offensive coordinator every year. I can't get comfortable as an offensive line and mesh with my guys and understand the terms and the lingo and what this coach is saying because by my sophomore year, he's left. So like you said, you got to have some stability with your coaching staff because from that standpoint, also it helps your recruiting and understanding that, okay, I have security here. I'm comfortable taking my kid and leaving him with you. And in 3 or 4 years, he come out to be a better football player, a better man, not confused because he's had 3 or 4 different coaches.
That coming here this morning from Dee Brown, at Syracuse Orange alum, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. D, one of the most concerning firings for me was defensive line coach Vincent Reynolds. Vincent was one of the guys that was on Dino's staff since the beginning, was hired in January of 2016 to oversee the defensive line, then was shifted exclusively to D tackles for 3 seasons, and then back to the entire defensive line for 2020, 2021. This defensive line, arguably at Syracuse, is the best one they've seen in a decade. Kingsley, Jonathan, McKinley, Williams, and Josh Black, their starters, all moving on, finishing up their eligibility. Caleb Okechukwu stepped up. Cody Roscoe stepped up. Curtis Harper stepped up. There's been a bunch of guys and young guys on this team too, Terry Lockett and JT Gear and whatnot. I would argue that it was, besides Sean Tucker at running back, it was the best part of Syracuse's team. Does that concern you that when you see a head coach who's kind of maybe struggling to keep their job fire multiple coaches, one of those coaches being the coach that oversees one of the strongest units on the team?
Well, yeah, Dan, your questions and my answers really kind of go back to, what is the culture? How does that happen? When you have, as you say, one of the, a coach who's overseeing the best unit on in your entire program, why is he leaving? Not that he resigned, not that he took a job, why did he get fired? And what is that doing for those kids that's coming back? Because when you have a good coach in your unit is doing well, all the kids recognize it. So I'm sure that coach was revered in a high manner and held in high regard. So it just, without understanding, the inside of that relationship and what was going on in between he and Dino, or he and the athletic director, or whoever made the call, I think you have to just look at that from outside looking in and say, man, what's happening? What's happening between those walls? Maybe that's what we have to clean up. Everyone wants to talk about play calling and coaching and things of that nature. Sometimes you gotta dig deeper than that. Get inside those offices and mend some relationships and find out what's going on, because kids feed off that too. They understand vibe and energy. Those are 2 terms that are very prevalent in today's lingo in our kids' dictionaries. So they understand vibe and the energy that's coming between 2 adults that they have to engage with when they have a relationship with every day. So maybe we got to go deeper than that. Maybe it's not just so much on the field, but let's get on off the field. Let's find out. Get in and find out. Have some serious conversations. Talk to some high school coaches and get an understanding of what are they seeing. Talk to some alum and see. Take a survey, take a poll, and see if some alums that are just like me and watching intently and see what they see. I don't know what you have to do, Dan, but hell, exhaust all the possibilities to get our program back to where it needs to be. And that if that means keeping coaches that, okay, hey, as long as we respect each other, we don't have to like each other, because at the end of the day, the job is getting done. And that's what we have to start preaching. Get the job done. Respect me, like me later, but at the end of the day, the job is done. We both go home.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you said, exhaust all possibilities, and I love that because, you're an alum of Syracuse, and you were successful at Syracuse, very successful, and I mean, and you know it as well as anybody else knows it out there. I don't care if you played one down, 1,000 downs. I don't care if you're a record holder at Syracuse or you played 3 games at Syracuse. If you want to be on the show, you're welcome here on Wake Up Call. That is an open door policy I've always had. There's nobody that's not worth having on the show. And when it comes to, just supporting alum and talking with you all, when I look at your time at Syracuse and what you're able to do, obviously you had a lot of success. You did a lot of great things. Do you feel welcome? I think that's a key thing to ask you the question. You finished up in 2000, so in the Paul Pasqualoni era. Since then, Greg Robinson, Doug Marrone, Scott Schaefer, Dino Babers. Do you feel welcome? Are you called? Are you texted? Are you sent a letter? Are you invited back? Are you given tickets? What is the alumni relations like through your eyes?
Great question, Dan. I don't know really how to answer that one. My feelings are kind of in between. To answer the question that you asked specifically, and no, none of those things have happened or received. I have had, 1 or 2 conversations. Now, most recently, I will say with the great hiring of Deion Maddox, I think he's director of high school relations and things of that nature. He's doing a phenomenal job of reaching out to, all involved and want to be involved with Syracuse football, is especially the high school coaches who are being successful in this region. And so most recently, my answer would change. But before that, I would say no. It wasn't really, and I wouldn't say I didn't feel welcome as if, someone turned their back on me. It's just a real lack of communication and commitment to build that relationship. And I believe I was speaking with, a couple of guys, not too long ago, and just talking about, how, I would wish that, Syracuse would start reaching out to our more successful high school coaches, because those are, some eyes for you that you're not even paying for just because of the love of the orange. If Rodney Wells down in Dr. Phillips in Florida doesn't have a kid on his team that's Syracuse worthy, but there's a kid that he played against or is around in that area, then he feels more compelled to say, hey, Coach Dino, or whoever the director, DFO is, hey, check this kid out. This is what you guys, are looking for. This is what you said you're looking for. He's on the radar. So, I think from a relationship, we should be doing little things like that. I haven't gotten those calls. I would welcome those calls. I think we need to put that in our job description because it's important. You want alumni to back you. You want alumni to go over and beyond for you. But we also want to feel welcome there as well. And I'm not saying, it's a facetious, it's coming from a facetious place. No, I'm not saying that at all. But I will say, there hasn't been a lot of reach out or attempts for engagement. And I think it should. I think for whatever reason, I think from a male standpoint, we just have a hard time doing that, expressing ourselves. But I think we should definitely reconcile their relationship, because it's just another resource for you in this day of mass media and things that you can do just on your own, man. You have a lot more outlets if you have those relationships with alumni. Guys like Vaughn Smith down in D.C., who's doing a hell of a job in his position as offensive coordinator. Why are those guys not constantly being emailed and say, hey, Coach, what do you got? What you got around there? Because those kids are being built on the same foundations and brick by brick the way we were, like you said, in the glory days where we were actually winning rings and conference championships. So I think, those are kind of 2 examples of the engagement that we want, that we talk about. But to answer your question, I wouldn't say there's been an overabundance of those things happening on my end.
And to me, that has to change. Alumni relations, and like you said, the alumni that are now coaches, high school coaches, what it's like to live in this world. I mean, it's free talent. It's a free bridge. It's a free opportunity. These coaches are all over the country. Some of them are in New York State. Some of them are down in Florida. Some of them are somewhere in between. And that's kind of the beauty of it all is that it's in places that Dino's allegedly already recruiting like the state of Florida. So, to me, it would be nothing. If you have good relationships with the alumni, they want to help you. I would imagine you want to help any coach succeed at Syracuse. And so when that opportunity is there and you can call them up and say, hey, I got these 3 kids, that I've been working out with, and, at running back, I got this guy at D-line, I got this guy as a quarterback. D, it seems like one of the easiest things in the world, and it seems like a giant bonus that you have that. If you have alumni that are out there coaching and coaching successfully today, that is a massive help to your recruitment. That should be one of your first phone calls. That's kind of like the ace in the hole, so to speak, I would think.
Well, it definitely is. Like I said, it's another set of eyes for you, and it's not even paying for it. We're on staff indirectly, if you will. And that's how you're going to have to treat that. But you got to build a relationship first and reach out to these guys and trust the conversation. Trust that these coaches are not just talking to you because they're trying to get their kids. There's no ulterior motive. We're not trying to cut any corners. We love Orange. And we want to see the program do well. And the good coaches are realistic. They understand, the kids that are not their caliber, or the caliber of kids we need. So they won't recommend those persons. I think there's a trust issue there, Dan, a little bit, that maybe there's an ulterior motive. So we don't really want to trust the word of the coach. Well, you need to look at it because it's been a lot of times where kids have been recommended. They go off to other places and have great careers. And it's like, we should have had that kid. But if you don't have that relationship with those coaches, then we don't have that opportunity. And so I don't know how we mend that relationship or how we bring it together and keep it lasting, but it needs to be done. Alumni relations, especially in the areas where we're weak at in football, we got to improve, point blank, period. So do the necessary work. Hire somebody else. Give them a salary. I don't know what the heck you got to do. We got the money. We got the funds. Get it. Just pick up the phone. It don't cost that much. Whatever. Put a reminder on your daggone, laptop. Hey, reach out to an all text call, all email call to these particular guys. Keep them a part of the program. The ones who see that, they'll email back. They'll stay engaged. And so if and there's a lot of us who are in the region, in the area, following our guys intently and want to see our program. And if you do that, and if you reach out to those guys and build that relationship, and they're reaching back to you. Now, I'm not saying keep calling. Guys who don't reach back, hey, that's they're part of the problem. I'm talking about guys who are trying to be part of the solution. And so you got to build that as well, because that is also part of the culture and what we're talking about. It's not just happening what on the field, it's off the field and even off the campus. So that's a part of improving and building that culture brick by brick.
Yeah, and you're speaking normal language. This is any school. Your alumni is your best base to go because they've used your product and they've succeeded with your product. So you don't go to you're not a hair care product that goes to a bunch of bald people and says, "Hey, what did you think of our product?" You go to the people that utilize what you've already put out there, what you have, and it makes perfect sense. So, that's something I would love to see. And Deion Maddox has done a good job. Will Hicks has done a good job. And hopefully, that will improve from there. Final points here. We've touched on a lot of things, D, and we've only barely scratched the surface, but name, image, and likeness and the transfer portal, it gives a lot of power to the player. You used to be a player in the collegiate world, but you didn't have that opportunity. The coaches had the power, and I had a player come on this show this week, Corey Cooper, who started off the week with me, who said, listen, when I went to transfer, Schaefer gave me a list. He said, here's all the places you can't go. He said, well, it just so happened a couple teams on that list, NC State and Wake Forest, they're in my home state. They were recruiting me. I wanted to go to one of those places, but I couldn't go there because he could write it down and say no. Now with the transfer portal, you can't block anybody from going in your conference. You can't block anybody from going anywhere. If they're on your schedule, it doesn't matter. And name, image, and likeness allows the players to gain money. What are your thoughts, having been around and are around high school athletes, to know that when they go to college, now they have control of if they want to leave, where they want to go. Nobody can block them. Nobody can blackball them. And on top of all of that, they now have the opportunity to make money, which the NCAA has been making off of them for decades.
Dan, I love it. And I joke with my dad and my mom. I'm like, man, you guys had it too early. Man, we could have been set a lot earlier than now. But I love it, man. I love it, and I say I love it from the standpoint. I love the autonomy that it gives these student athletes. You shouldn't have to wait until somebody tells you that how old you are to make, $1 million, or, if I'm unhappy, that's my right. Now, we talk about the moral piece of it. We talk about the athletic and competitive piece of it. And we say stick around, be a good teammate, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, there are some circumstances where it's not good. The situation is not good, and the change of scenery is best. And so, in those situations, it's good that you don't have, any parameters or boundaries that someone can exercise and restrict you from being, the authentic person that you truly want to be as a student athlete. And so I love that we take the power out of the unnecessary hands and put it in the necessary hands. So I have no problems with that. I think that's a great revolution of the sport. It's something that's been talked about for years. Evolution, rather. I'm sorry. It's been talked about for years, and it's finally come to pass. And so we're seeing, the fruits of many people's labor. You think about guys like Ed O'Bannon, and if you can recall years ago when they started the lawsuit, about this type of thing where our kids and our student athletes couldn't get paid for whatever they're playing, their likeness, their jersey, but the university made millions. And so it's coming full circle, and you're seeing now kids are in positions, man, at a very young age to change their lives and the generations behind and before them, man, the lives of their family. And so that's a great thing. I can't do anything but applaud those people who laid the groundwork, because now you see kids again, and it's gonna affect in a lot of good ways some things as far as kids leaving early. If a lot of kids are chasing the bag, so to speak, is what they call it, and now as a junior or senior, when you're contemplating, do I take this chance and forego my senior year or however many years I got and try to go pro and get this evaluation? Now, if you're making yourself a couple of $100,000 up to $1 million while you're in school, it's like, why? That kind of anxiety is gone now. So it's going to affect, the whole scope of sports to some degree because of the decision making and the things that were considered when we were making these decisions, 3 years ago, or as early as 3 years ago, are definitely, changing our motivations now that we have this new provision that we can take advantage of.
That all coming from Dee Brown, put very well this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Dee, like I said, we barely scratched the surface. I'd love to have you back. I want to let everybody know really quick here, two things, and one of them being the fact that Dee is part of the 2,500 plus club at Syracuse, so rushed for over 2,500 yards, 2,626, so 26-26, averaged 5.3 yards per carry in his time at Syracuse over 4 seasons, had just shy of 30 touchdowns rushing, and finished off his time at Syracuse in 2000 under Paul Pasqualoni with a 1,000-yard season of 1,031, getting 6 yards per carry. The second part is the Blow the Whistle podcast. Let everybody know how they can connect with it, Dee, and just why you do it.
Great, man. So Blow the Whistle is it's an LLC that I created, and just by chance, it was something that I had a little battle of depression myself some years ago, and coming out of that and recovering, it kept being told to me to talk to more people about it and create a platform and really just show people that it's okay. And so I started Blow the Whistle. It's an interactive podcast that talks about mental health. I use the good thing, the different thing about our platform is that I use celebrities. I use guys like Steve Smith Sr., Keith Bullock, Kyle Turley, to actually advocate for mental health and to talk about not talk about ball and touchdowns and Hall of Fames, and we may touch on that stuff at the beginning of the conversation, but most of the conversation is so you can see that these guys have now taken off the helmet. They're actually showing you their face, and they're actually opening their mouth and being open and honest and transparent with you about struggles and anxieties they've had, and not only what they experienced, but how they dealt with it. And you'll see that, it's an everyday occurrence. We're all on the same team. That when it comes to mental health. And so we all help each other out. And so we're just team members. And those guys come on the show and do a great job and have a great candid conversation about their experience. And that's what Blow the Whistle is about, just the mental health, being an advocate for it, rather, and showing people that, hey, man, there's nothing wrong with talking. There's nothing wrong with, talking about mental fitness. It is important just as much as our physical fitness. You see guys, all the time, going through things, and you hear about the tragic stories of ex-NFL guys, and once they die, and CTE occurrences and things of that nature, and it just comes from a place where we want myself and my co-host Dame, not your average therapist, Harmon, to be purple unicorns is what we call ourselves, and trying to be advocates for the entire world and changing the stigma of mental health. So we'll be live tonight at 8 o'clock. You can check us out live 8 p.m. We're going to talk about the mental health and how the holidays affect our mental health, whether good, bad, or indifferent, and some things that we can do to make sure that prevent, downfalls and slide backs and triggers. And so it's going to be a great conversation. We have thousands of followers. We encourage all to come on and ask questions. We love the interactive piece. We don't like to just be talking. We love the interactive piece of it. And so that's what Blow the Whistle is about. You can also catch me on Instagram at _D Brown _7. Twitter, I don't know that. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it on my bio. But those are the two things that I'm most proud of so far, as far as my extracurricular, obviously coaching football, being a granddad, but Blow the Whistle is my jewel right now, Dan. I appreciate you, bringing it up. Also being an advocate for mental health, and I appreciate the support, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say healthy body, healthy mind, healthy body. I chose to work on that the last couple of years, even more so than I ever have, and it paid off dividends for my life that'll last forever. So, D, keep doing you, and keep being the awesome person that you are, and I just look forward to us connecting and staying in touch with one another, and I look forward to having you back soon, and I obviously wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays, man. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. God bless you and the family, Dan. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You don't understand, everyone, you don't see everyone or know everyone who's watching your show and supporting you, but they really are. We greatly appreciate everything you're doing and your love for the Orange. We love the Orange. We just want to see the program do better, and it's going to get there. We do the things that we just talked about in the last 30 minutes, man. But I appreciate your love and support, man. Much respect, and let's go Orange.
All right, man. Take care. God bless, and Happy New Year, okay?
Right,
Take care. That coming from Dee Brown once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Very, y'all leave me speechless when you do stuff like that. It means a lot to me. I mean, you got to remember, I watched players like Dee Brown. I watched him growing up. So for me, for him to say, hey, you don't know it, but you don't know the people that are watching you, and that we appreciate you, and you keep doing what you're doing, and it means a lot to us. I mean, that to me, and him knowing that I stand up for mental health and taking care of yourself, and you always hope that your reputation precedes you. You hope that it's in a good way. You hope that people know who you are, they know what you're about, they know what you stand for, and you just hope that comes through, because this world is convoluted with a lot of garbage, and you just hope that people can see truth and honesty and love and decency. And so to hear that from D means a lot, because it's telling me that what I'm picking up, what I'm putting down, somebody's picking up. So I appreciate that all, and I love you all for that. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. You're about to get an incredible conversation with my guy, Kingsley Jonathan. I told you Syracuse past and present. You just heard from Dee Brown. Now you're about to hear from Syracuse defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan, who just finished up his 4.5 years at Syracuse and is moving on to the NFL draft. He will be talking with me about a lot of different things, including his time at Syracuse, choosing to return for the 2021 season, his fellow defensive linemen, Dino Babers, Vincent Reynolds, Tony White, how he feels about his coaches, going into the 2022 NFL Draft, and so much more, including him putting me on the hot seat in rapid fire as we go back and forth and have some fun. That's all coming up in a video special for you right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Football studios. Thank you for being here. God bless you. We appreciate you. Check out Blow the Whistle with Dee Brown, and we'll be back right after this fast break with Kingsley Jonathan. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. I'm your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. That's where you're listening. You're watching on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT and Facebook.com/LiveNowDT every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Today is a very special opportunity for me to be here with you, picture in picture, with Kingsley Jonathan. Kingsley Jonathan playing on the defensive line for Syracuse and just finishing up his time here, getting set for the NFL draft. He decided to come back last season and this past season here in 2021, and now we'll be moving forward, and I'm ecstatic. We got a lot of stuff to get into here with Kingsley, so let's bring him in. Kingsley, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Good morning, you guys.
And Kingsley, you know, I'm going to start somewhere where I hope you remember this. I asked you at the beginning of the season what type of impact Josh Black has had on your life. And you said, let me get back to you on that. So that's where I'm going to start.
Josh has been like a close friend. He's been more than a friend. He's been a brother throughout this whole season. We spent a lot of time together, ride together to and from practice. We have all the same classes, do all the same homework and all that. So we really spend a lot of time to get to know people very well when you spend that much time with them. So it's been, that it's been very important to everybody, to the defense, to the seniors coming back, and to the team as a whole. So it was really good having him back with me.
And looking back at this time last season with no fans, you took a walk with Josh, took a walk with Aaron Service, Rex Culpepper, and you went around the stadium and just did that walk around the end zones and just something you would do if there were fans there, but there were no fans there because of COVID. When you took that walk, how confident were you that you were coming back or that you were done at that time in 2020? Did you know what side you were leaning toward?
At that time in 2020, I thought I was done. I was like 95% sure that I was leaving. So when I got the time to sit back and evaluate and weigh the options and how much more better, I can get within a year and how I can show more about what I can do within that year, it was a no-brainer for me to come back,
So you said you're about 95% sure when you were making that walk in 2020 that you were done at Syracuse. And then you said you had time to kind of take a step back. How did you get that time? Did you give that time to yourself? Did something happen that provided that time? That time where you changed your mind? How did that come about?
It was, I gave myself that time. I told Babers I needed some time to think about it, talk about it, pray about it with my family and all of that. So I gave myself about 2-3 weeks, to go through everything. Our decision was made before 3 weeks, of course, but I told him I needed that time to just go through everything.
Within that 3 weeks, how quickly did you make your decision?
I was a week and a half in.
Okay.
It's not something I was thinking about every day, had the discussions, prayed about it and weighed my options so that I can show teams more of me, show what I can do better, show the improvement I've made, being like a first year starter that the other year to an opportunity to like show that I can get on the field and do what I can do,
So for you, Kingsley, when you knew a week and a half in, did you still take that 3 weeks and wait to tell Dino and kind of just make sure that it was the right decision?
Yeah, I did. Coach Babers was good with just giving me time and let me go through everything before I reached out to him. He was ecstatic when I told him so.
And bring me into that conversation. You said he was ecstatic. Make me a fly on the wall. What was that conversation like?
No, he was really excited. He was he convinced me. He told me that it would be really good for me to come back and to show what I have. Show how much improvement I've made and I told him I'll get back to him. So when I called him and told him, he was really, really excited. So I told him over the phone. So he was really excited to hear that.
What does an excited Dino Babers sound like?
That's a fun Dino Babers. When he's really excited, that's a good mood for him to be in, So just glad to put him in that mood, So I think they were in the recruiting trail. So he said that made his whole week. So that was good.
Yeah, one less DN to go look for. So a good thing. Kingsley Jonathan here with us this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. Kingsley, how much did Aaron's service and Josh Black deciding to come back as super seniors, did that have anything to do with it? I mean, was this just your personal decision, you locked in, blinders on, or did Aaron and Josh have anything to do with it, the fact that they decided to come back?
Oh, it was blinders on. Being real men, we have to do what's best for us, and they had their decision to make. It didn't affect what I had to say. I think I had a feeling Josh was coming back, but still didn't affect my decision. I didn't know till Syracuse was coming back till later on. So knowing it was blinders on when I made that call.
You said you prayed about it and you talked with family. Who was involved in your inner circle?
My guardian parents, Tim and Ty are great, and Coach J.B. Gerald, and high school Coach Messiah. So those four people were really involved with the decision.
And for you to make that decision, you said that you involved your faith and you prayed about it. What were the prayers like? What did you say to the big guy?
Just give me a sign that it's time to come back, and I just told him to let his will be done. I didn't ask for him to make a decision, tell me this or this. I just asked him to show me if this was right for me or not, and little things, and I had it in my heart. I just put the right decision in my heart. That's what I told him. So I told him just put the right decision in my heart, and just started feeling okay. I do need to come back, So start seeing reasons why I should come back, taking advantage of this rare opportunity, to further my education as well as get better on the field, because I haven't had as much opportunity as most other guys, to have been playing football for that long. So taking advantage of this was definitely something I needed to put me up there too.
What were those little signs?
It is tough to explain. I'm sure you can understand. It's just little things I'll just be watching TV and I'll be thinking about a decision and something Syracuse to come up, or I just be going through stuff in my room and I see something involving Syracuse that I thought was lost, and I'm like, where is this? So those little things that just keep popping up, and I read into it, So, yeah. and it just stayed in my heart. So I don't question it, I trust God, and God sent those things, so I accept it as it comes.
So you come back to Syracuse for this past season, 2021, come off a 1-10 season, you go 5-7, you miss a bowl game by a game. Now that you can look back on the season, you've had some time of what ended in November, as we're pretty much a month from your last game. What do you think of the 2021 season?
As a group, we had a lot of guys that gave it their all. A lot of guys that really wanted, a lot of guys that really wanted to make it to a bowl game. A lot of coaches, everybody really wanted to gave it everything every week. Guys came to practice with the same mentality, even after going through 3 straight losses. the next practice was the same mentality, the same focus, the same intensity. So that's what I was most proud of. Guys continue to fight. Guys continue to hope and dream and still have that faith. Coach Babers always preaches about faith, belief without evidence. So we had that, and guys just showed that. And personally, earlier in the season, I got hurt for the first 4 games that I was not 100%, and just getting the opportunity to be back in the field and slowly work my way back, that was really good. So I had some opportunity to show that I can rush the passer, I can stop, shut down the run, and that's why I came back to show that I can do those things very good. So that's how I look at this. That's how I look at things. Most definitely, we would have loved to go to the bowl game. I would love to have that chip on my shoulder, that extra game, but it is what it is, So you gotta look at the positives and the strides guys made. A lot of young guys stepping up and making big plays. There's big future coming in, especially on the defensive side. A lot of young guys that are going to be really good.
Coming here from Kingsley, Jonathan, defensive lineman for Syracuse, as he gets set for the 2022 NFL Draft, and he's here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. You mentioned the 3-game losing streak. When he came into the ACC, you lost 3 games in a row by 3 points apiece. Florida State at the end, Wake Forest in overtime at the end at home. Clemson battled back and just lost it at the end. Your thoughts on these games? I mean, Syracuse has never won in Tallahassee, and you were right there. This Clemson game, albeit the Clemson isn't the same as it has been, for a long time, still a strong team, still got close to having double-digit wins this season, and that game was right there. And Wake Forest was leading the ACC for the majority of the season and ranked in the nation's top 20 when you played them. So those games, just bring me into what you took away from games that were all separated by a field goal. That was it.
It showed what we can do. It showed that we definitely had the ability to beat anybody, in the country. We had that. It's just we had to bring it together and put it in and be able to finish out games. Those past 3 games we weren't able to for most of the games in the season, weren't able to finish out the games. So still attacking the weeks as they come and keeping that in mind. Okay, we got to finish out. We gotta play to the fourth quarter is over. We got to put more emphasis anytime we're practicing, and it's the fourth quarter. It's the last few drives and the last few this. We have to go harder those practices. So we put more emphasis in those last few minutes of practices, last few minutes, so that we can carry it over to the game. Because if we do the same thing over and over again, it's going to happen again. So that's what I took out of those games.
Is this team better than what they showed on paper?
Oh, yes. We were way better than what we showed on paper, I was way better than what I put on paper, A lot of missed opportunities here, little missed opportunities here and there that I came out with easily, 7-8 sacks this season. So just little things here and there that caused it to go the other way in the game. Little plays, one play here and it'll be a different story, Or one play there, one play here, one play in the Clemson game with a different story. One play definitely the long play in the Florida State game would have been a different story. So we were definitely way better than what we put, on paper.
And there was a night in the Dome, and I'm sure that you guys knew this very well, is that when Liberty came in 2020, they had never won a game against an ACC team. Their first ACC win ever in their young history as a football team in Division I FBS was against Syracuse. Not a good feeling. They laid on the S after the game. They took pictures, and I guess they chirped a little bit because your guy, Marlo Wax Jr., a linebacker that I know well, he had a video at the end of this game in 2021 when you got the victory where it was snuff the flame out, and you saw him go like this, and he, like that, and just knocked it right out. Bring me into that game, because Malik Willis comes into that game arguably as the top quarterback to be taken in the 2022 NFL draft. There were, I believe, because I counted and released the list, there was about 23 of 32 NFL teams that were there. And accidentally, because of how well you played against Malik Willis, he brought all those scouts into the Dome. They got to see you. They got to see Tuck. They got to see Josh Black and Aaron Service and so on and so forth. What can you say to Malik Willis as a kind of thank you for bringing more than half of the NFL to the Dome, because they got to see how well you played against him? And arguably, one of the best games against him this season was from the Syracuse defense.
Yeah, we had the whole – after we lost to them the year before, I know I had this pit in my stomach for a long time, you know. So going into that game, the whole week was personal.
Yeah. The
whole practice, from the warm-up was personal. It was a different atmosphere from the previous games that we had, because guys took that personally. Like, I was like, you know, so not gonna dwell on the past too much, but like we had to get back, you know. We had to get our, as you guys say, get our lick back. So we had to. So we took that the whole practice week personally. So going into the game, I was just coming off an injury. I wasn't sure if I was going to play yet, but that wasn't going to stop me. If I had to double wrap it, you know, to get out in the field, that's what we needed to do. So we came into the week and they told us he was the best. He was the number one quarterback in the draft right now.
Yeah,
we needed that. So you telling me guys are going to come watch him play? Thank you. Everybody's coming to watch him. Thank you. So we saw that as an opportunity to showcase what we could do, you know, as a defense, as personally, as football players. We know, oh damn, everybody's here watching. We got to show out. So we took that as another reason, you know. So after going through weeks of practice, game day was different. The atmosphere was we didn't. Guys were so locked in, you know, and that's how after that game, that's how locked in we were throughout like most of the year, and so that set like a benchmark that, okay, this is how it's got to be to have results. So that game set a benchmark for us, and those guys are awesome team. You know, they play together. He was their point, so the whole offense ran through him. So if we could get to him, we can affect them. We can slow down their offense, you know. So yeah, that was the game plan. So get to Malik, you know. So and try to keep him in the pocket as much as we can, because his feet, you know, he hurt us last year a lot. So we watched last year's game and we saw a lot of plays that we missed. You know, a lot of little things here and there that they were banging our head on the wall. What is this, you know? So we took that personally, you know. And always that's a great team, you know. They beat that same year. They beat us. They beat a couple of other ACC teams or so. So we knew it was going to be a good fight. It wasn't going to be like a walkover. We're not going to try to walk over anybody, because it wasn't going to be that easy. So it was like, thank you for the scouts that you gave us. Thank you for the people you brought, the attention you brought. So, and I'm glad that we took advantage of that, you know.
Yeah, and it was, 6 sacks on the day. Michael Jones, a linebacker, had 2. Cody Roscoe on your D-line had 2. Jeff Canton-Arku and you had half apiece. And then Marlo Wax Jr., linebacker, had a sack himself. So a lot of you guys got involved. I mentioned Jeff Canton-Arku. He is transferring out of the program. He's going to Memphis. And not only that, but Curtis Harper, who is on the line with you, he also made the decision to move forward and leave Syracuse, where he could have been some much-needed help on the line itself with you finishing up, and McKinley Williams finishing up, and Josh Black. So, when we look at this right now and we look at the way that things are, Ben LaBrose, who played at safety and started at times, Chase Atkinson, a backup corner, Landon Morris, who really never got started as a wide receiver tight end at Syracuse, Sherrod Johnson as a wide receiver, Cooper Lutz as a receiver and running back, Adrian Cole as a backup corner, Luke Benson as a starting tight end, Joe Rondi, who was backing up on the D-line, Curtis Harper in the rotation with you on the D-line, Jeff Canton-Arcu, as I mentioned, at linebacker, Dylan Markowitz and Tommy DeVito at quarterback, Lattery Kinsler as an edge guy, Taj Harris as a wide receiver, Jarvion Howard at running back, Russell Thompson Bishop at wide receiver, Cody Shear, who I don't even know if he even got there, would transferred in and transferred out quick. When you see that list and knowing that some of those guys are on the D-line, and one of them is Curtis Harper, who's given so much to this team, what are your thoughts seeing that the transfer portal has been utilized by your teammates to the tune of almost 20 players at this point?
Every guy is his own man, every guy has their reason. It's not like, I don't think it was like a mass reason that everybody would say, okay, let's all get in this and transfer out. It wasn't anything like that. Individually, they all have the reason for leaving, and I respect each and every one of them, So when Curtis left to talk to us, talk to me and Black about his personal reasons, and we understood that, and I wish him the best. So being your own man, you have to make your own decisions and make decisions that you feel like are best for you moving forward.
We look at the fact that one of the guys that decided to come back, Caleb Okechukwu, on your defensive line, he's somebody that backed up, and like you said, when you went through injury and whatnot, got rotated in as a starter. What has he meant to this team, and what does he mean to the future of this team? What can you say about Caleb, who at one point told me he didn't even know if he was going to be able to play football again?
Oh yeah, he's been very instrumental to the entire team, not just the defense. He's a guy that people look up to, a guy that people respect. And we're from the same place, like back home in Nigeria, like where he's from, like that's where I'm from. So we've always had a special connection since I hosted him on this official. But what's been, because we speak the same. He doesn't speak a lot of it, but we speak the same language, a cultural language back home. So he's been like a brother, more than a brother, like really close to me. And I'm just excited to see what he's gonna do this next season, because he's gonna be the next man up. You understand? So he's gonna carry that defense like I know he will. Guys are gonna look up to him, and he's gonna ball out. So. I'm looking for what he's going to do.
And I'm looking at Steve Linton on the defensive line, who's got plenty of time to give. Jadius Gear as well, JT Gear that I had the opportunity to speak with, Derek McDonald. There's guys, Terry Lockett, who are here on this line, Elijah Wright, Elijah Fuentes-Cundiff there as well. There's a lot of youth, and Syracuse used a couple of those signings here for the early period for 2022 to bring in two guys that have been on my show, Belizaire Bassett II and Dennis Jaquez Jr. coming in. So a lot of youth on the defensive line, but there are some names here that have gotten some action, like Caleb, like the Terry Lockett's and so on and so forth. So what can you tell me about the future of this line? We've spoken about Caleb, but JT is as well as some of the other pieces here. When I say those names to you, when I talk about JT, when I talk about Terry, when I bring up the Elijahs, what comes to mind when you think about the future of the defensive line?
I smile. I know those guys are gonna be really good. T-Lock came in as a undersized tackle. He was balling out in the ACC. Easy. T-Lock is going to be good. Eli is showing out, at practice, throwing guys around. Eli is going to be good. JT showing his range, showing how he can rush the passer, showing his strength, showing all that. JT's going to be good, and Steve is coming into his own. He's showing that he's good. So given more opportunity, Steve is going to show that he can easily be a first round pick, easy. Steve Linton. So those guys, I don't think twice. Moving forward as they develop, this new coaching staff or whoever's going to be coaching them in the D-line as they move forward. I have no doubt in my mind they're going to be the best they can be. And the Syracuse D-line is left in a good space.
And that's the thing is looking at these guys, and when you're talking about Elijah Fuentes, Cundiff coming out of the Bronx at Cardinal Hayes, you said he's just throwing guys around in practice and whatnot. What are we fitting to see with Eli that you saw in practice that we haven't seen yet? I mean, how dangerous is this man?
Eli is good. Eli is gonna be real as he gets bigger, as he gets better and stronger. Coach E is gonna get him right in the weight room. Once he gets better on the field, knowing everything that he needs to know, he's gonna be really good. He's a strong dude, very smart football player. Doesn't say too much, but on the field, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly why he's doing things. Talking to him when he just came in, try to mentor him because he's been, following me before he came in and asking, okay, what can I do this and how can I do that to get better? So when he came in, it was an easy relationship we had, and just talking to him, mentoring him, explaining things to him. He learns really quick. He picks it up picks things up like this, him and JT, So once they get the little things down, that's always the big thing, the little things. The big thing is the little things. So once you pay attention to the little things and know why you're doing things and why is this happening and why is the play call designed like this and why do I have to go there? Why do I have to take this step? Those tiny little details. Once they have that down, those guys are going to be really good for the defense.
One guy is finishing up, another guy. Well, actually, both guys are finishing up that I'm about to mention right now, and I'd love to talk about them a little bit more. McKinley Williams and Cody Roscoe. McKinley had been utilized in multiple instances. Cody came into his own this year. I think it was last year he had something like a few sacks all season, and this year he had 5 or 6 off the jump. What can you say about Cody Roscoe and McKinley Williams? And mind you, I asked Cody a very important question, and that was, is Kanye's Donda better than Drake's Certified Lover Boy? And there is a right answer, and he gave me the right answer, which was Drake. But, what are your thoughts on Cody and McKinley?
McKinley's he's going to be there. We call him Bear. Bear's always going to be Bear, Strong dude, always going to make his presence felt, aggressive off the ball, great hands, once the passer is going to get in your face, So having Bear around was definitely a big deal for us this year. Those are some of the positions that you don't hear a lot about. Well, he's doing a lot. He's taking on double team, triple teams. He's taking on this and taking on that so guys can run around and make plays. So I'm really looking forward to what he's going to do this next year, going into the draft and everything. But Bear is really awesome for us.
Yeah, and you've had an incredible rotation. I would say this is the best rotation at D-line that Syracuse has had maybe in a decade. And you being a part of that, which is kudos to you. There's some great guys that came and just really built up in the system. And then there was this retooling and trying to find a way, and you guys brought it, which I want to thank you for because it's been incredible to watch. And that here with Kingsley Jonathan here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football Studios. Kingsley, before I let you go, a few things here. A lot of people have thoughts on Dino Babers. A lot of people have thoughts from the outside in on, what they think about him staying for a year 7. And, the team's been in one bowl game in the last 6 seasons and this, that, whatever. And there's a lot of guys in the transfer portal leading the ACC, like we talked about. You're in the inside out. What can you tell me about Dino Babers and your relationship with him and who he is as a coach and a person to you? Because I think it's important for someone to speak from the inside about who Dino has been as a leader, as he is the person that's running the ship for you guys?
Coach Babers is somebody that's always going to put us first, no matter what's going on. If I do something I'm not supposed to do on the field, do this, and he's going to take the blame for it. He's going to take it. He's going to take it on his back for anybody on the team easily without batting an eye. He's going to jump in front of the fire for the coaches, for even the equipment guys, So that's the kind of person Coach Babers is. He's going to do anything in his power to win the right way, as he puts it. He's going to do anything to win. And all this is while he's preparing every single man in there to be better men and better husbands and better brothers and all that. So I have no doubt in my mind that he's the guy for the job. And I just trust in the process, So, yeah, there's that.
For you, when you look back on your time at Syracuse, everybody makes a decision on where to go. You could have transferred. You could have left after last season. Hindsight 2020, when you think of your time at Syracuse, what are the things that come to mind the most? What are the pillars maybe of your why you chose Syracuse, and maybe if you would choose it again if you had the opportunity?
Without any doubt in my mind, it was the fans. Without any doubt whatsoever, I needed to play in the front of the fans one more year. As a player, as the guy, and I needed the Syracuse community giving so much to us, so. We needed to give them a good show. We needed to give them a winning season. We came short of that, but the fans were the number one reason about anything, why I didn't transfer out, or why everything, why we do anything. So yeah.
The transfer portal, we talked about it. Transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, it gives a lot of power to you guys. It gives power to the players. And a lot of the times the power has been in the hands of the coaches. Former players at Syracuse told me a coach could walk up to me and hand me a list, say, here's all the teams you can't play for. And what if those are the only teams that are recruiting me, coach? Tough. You can't play for these teams. So now in this world, it's immediate eligibility. You don't have a list. You can play in your conference. Name, image, and likeness, you can make money off of you and not just have the NCAA make money and the school make money off of it. Bring me into where we live today, because it's changing the model. Some people are saying there is no amateurism anymore. But now that the players have some control, now that you can leave and go where you please, no coach can bar you, block you, halt you, stop you. No coach with bad blood can do anything against a player. And at the same time, name, image, and likeness exists. What does this mean for the player? And what do you think about you guys having some control now?
This is definitely a big step in the right direction. As young men, having that opportunity to make decisions that, believe it or not, those decisions that they make, they're not making it alone. Nobody going into the transfer portal just sat down and just said, I'm just going to transfer portal. They've had discussions with coaches, high school coaches, parents, So for them to have those grown man talk, like we call it, and make the decision to go in transfer portal, it's a big step, having the opportunity to go where you feel like you can be utilized the best, go where you feel like you fit in better. That's always a good step in the right direction. And on the NIL front, that's going to give a lot of guys opportunities. A lot of guys. It's not going to be the same like compared to other schools. Alabama, it's not the money that guys making out of that. It's not going to be the same as smaller schools. So, but having the opportunity to be able to market yourself prepares you for the future. Even if you don't play football, you're going to get a job. You got to reach out to companies to work with you. So that exposes you to the real life, to the real world, and being able to take advantage of that to get to get things. Okay, I'm hungry. I reach out to these people and tell them, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about you and we're gonna get you out there, and I just need free food. It's little things like that. For athletes that may not be getting all that, and not getting paid like that. So those things that can definitely come in handy. It's definitely a step in the right direction. So just guys take good advantage of it and not fall into bad decisions, bad deals, and just take the best advantage of it. And moving forward, that's going to be really good for college football, college athletics in general.
Final points here with Kingsley Jonathan, defensive lineman, going into the NFL draft for 2022 here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and our special one-on-one sit-down conversation inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. You had to see him in practice, but you didn't have to see him on the field against you. And that's Sean Tucker, who not only broke a 42-year-old record led by Joe Morris of Syracuse running back history, but he broke it by over 100 yards, ending the season with 1,496 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, 6.1 yards per carry, almost 250 attempts, plus he had 255 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, so 14 touchdowns altogether and over 1,700 all-purpose yards. Sean Tucker means blank to Syracuse's future.
I'm gonna go with my Josh Black mode. Josh Black is Sean's biggest fan. I'm gonna say Sean Tucker is everything to the Syracuse future right now. He's been really good. Humble guy. You're not going. You guys know, you're not going to hear much from him. He doesn't talk much. When he's around the guys, he talks. But humble guy. I can't imagine it for anybody else. So I'm really excited what he has in store for him and his future with Syracuse. He's coming really good. I think he's just getting started, and I'm pleased to see that.
What did you guys think about after every game, him posting a picture of himself and talking about what he thinks? Because I know Josh, like you said, is his biggest fan. Yeah. He's like, oh, come on, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Yeah. So everybody was waiting for that post. What did you guys think about it? Did you razz Sean at all about his weekly post?
No, we were looking forward to it. This is even when we lost, something good, something good at least to look forward to. At least we have Sean Tucker's tweets to look forward to. So we always love reading it. Joking with him after the post and all that. So, but that's something we look forward to every week. As I knew the whole Syracuse community did too.
The NFL Draft 2022. I'm a GM. I'm sitting in front of you right now. Why do I take Kingsley Jonathan? What is it about you? Because there's guys that have technique. There's guys that can, be explosive, that can get to the quarterback. There's guys that maybe had more wins in college or had more exposure with bowl games or depending on where they went. Why should I take Kingsley Jonathan, put you on my team, and give you a shot to make my 53-man roster?
I'm going to be a great teammate. I'm going to be a great example to the guys. I'm going to be a great example for the whole community in general. I'm going to go out there and take advantage of what I have, give everything I have to the team and the community around me, give everything I have to the coaches and my fellow players. Bigger than just football for me. Just take advantage of that and be an impact in somebody's life is big for me. So, including what I can do on the field, I can be a very big impact in the locker room and the community around.
What about you on and off the field grew the most from the day you stepped into Syracuse to now?
On the field, it was a game of football. Going into my first year in Syracuse, I only played football for 2 years before that, I want to say. So I had to learn the game. I had to really, when guys wasn't, after film, guys were going home and doing this, and after meetings and all that, I had to stay extra. I had to stay back longer. More meetings with, it was how Coach Den was Coach Stannard. So more meetings with Coach Stannard. He taught me the ins and out of the game. When I got home, watched more YouTube videos about this and about that. So my knowledge of the game, my love for the game, just understanding the game, that grew exponentially throughout my 4.5 years here. So having the opportunity to grow the game in the Syracuse was something I just grow my game at Syracuse is what I'm like most appreciative of Syracuse University. They taught me a lot about Syracuse football and how to just being a man, about growing up. Learned that a lot. Learned a lot from Coach Babers and the coaches, So.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, like being able to get involved with the community around us. I got involved with a lot of great organizations that gave me the opportunity to have a little impact on something. Have a little impact in the community. Have a little impact on my fellow teammates. As other athletes in Syracuse University. So I'm just grateful for those opportunities.
The 3-3-5 did what for you? What has it done to improve your game and maybe showcase you a little bit better?
It exposed me to things I didn't know I could do. It exposed me to a lot, I didn't know I could rush from a 3 technique till Coach White said, Kingsley, let's move you inside there and rush from a 3 technique. I'm like, whoa, slow down. But got in there. I mean, 3 of my sacks last year was all from the 3 technique, I want to say. So it exposed me to a lot of things I didn't know I could do, So moved my ceiling higher, little things that I was learning all about 5 technique and D-line as a whole. Coming in the 3-3-5, I had to learn more again about everything about it. I needed to know about the 3 technique and the 4 eyes and the 2 technique and the 2 eyes. Those positions that I've never played before. My first time playing it was last year. That's the first time ever lining up in a 3 technique with no spring ball, just fall camp behind my belt. Against ACC. But that raised our ceilings. Everybody on the D-line, exposed us to little things that we didn't know necessarily we could do, but when we got out there, we could do it. So we raised our ceilings, and we got better. We understood it better why we're doing this, and why Coach White is saying do this and take this step and this step. Those little things, we got better at that. So really glad I played in that defense. That was an awesome defense playing.
That coming from Kingsley Jonathan. Final point here, Kingsley. In conclusion, it's called rapid fire. Puts you on the hot seat, but I don't know any broadcast or any media member that will do this, but I'm going to let you put me on the hot seat too. So we go back and forth. You can ask me anything in the world. I have to answer it. The same goes for you. And this is rapid fire, 3 apiece. We're just going to go back and forth quick to round out our conversation with Kingsley Jonathan, defensive lineman from Syracuse, 4.5 seasons with the Orange, moving on to the 2022 NFL Draft. And to all 32 franchises, I can vouch for this man and tell you he's worth the shot. We're here inside a wake-up call with Dan Tortora in the Cafe Football studios. Kingsley, I'm going to let you go first.
Best interview you ever had?
Man. Well, there's 2. One of them is sports, one of them is not. So the sports one is the first time I ever sat down and had a one-on-one interview with Floyd Little. And we spoke for 2 hours in his office. I aired 45 minutes of it. The other hour and 15, which was even better, was just him and I. And he told me that day, and you know how he used to get loud and then he'd get soft. And he looked at me, and I was at a crossroads in my life, and I was really emotional, and I was just kind of trying to figure things out. And I'm the type of person where I love everybody. I try to be good to everybody. And I was wondering why some people were just being nasty and why things were going on the way they were. And I was deciding, do I start my own company? Do I go work somewhere else? What do I do? And I was around 26-ish. And Floyd looked at me, and he leaned back at his chair in his office, and he goes, Dan, when you walked in the room, he goes, you had an aura. You had an aura about you. He goes, not everybody has it, but you got it. And he said, and I can see it. I can see, he goes, when someone's going to be successful because you can see it. And he goes, and you got that in you. You're going to be successful. I know that. Believe that. And he has no idea. I started my company shortly after that. And my company turns 10 years old in June of 2022. So I'd say Floyd. My other one I would say is when I recorded anything with my grandma, my G-Mama, and just, you know, she lived to be almost 101, and she sang with me. She joked with me. She was the greatest person. I'll tell you, if you guys were down by 30 against Clemson and she came in the locker room and stood in the middle of you all and she did her dance and she gave you her positivity and talked about God and her faith, you guys would score 31 points and win that game.
I believe that.
So appreciate that. My first one for you, Kingsley, is, oh man, I got a bunch on my mind. I got a bunch. So coming from Nigeria, you talk about being resilient, facing adversity, wanting to help people pay it forward and whatnot. How does your story from beginning to now, how does that show me or anybody that you know how to handle adversity and that you can overcome anything?
I'm without any doubt blessed to be in this position I'm in. You know, even to make it this far says a lot about God's plan in my life. So everything about my journey wasn't easy, you know, but I understood that there's a reason I'm in it. That's a big thing, that with everything, even when people ask me, why are you not mad this happened to you? Why are you not mad you were involved in this? Why are you not upset this happened? I learned a lot from every little situation I was in. Every bad situation I was in, I learned from. And I took everything as like a lesson. And okay, this is what happens when this happens, you know. I'm not gonna be like this when I'm older, you know. I'm not gonna treat people like this. I'm not gonna do this to young people, you know. I'm not gonna do this to you know, to people that trust me, you know. So that's why. That's the big thing I took from any of that, you know. I'm taking those struggles and as a lesson, you know.
And I can appreciate that. And I think you've just gotten started.
Yeah.
What's your next one for me?
Best game that you watched in person.
Of you guys?
Any? Yeah, Syracuse football.
Okay,
I'm excited.
So I'm gonna pick the Kingsley Jonathan era. So I would say, best game I watched you guys. It's tough. I would probably have to say, see, I like watching every game. I mean, obviously I want to see you guys succeed. And sometimes you're on the winning side of things, sometimes you're not. But ultimately, you know, for me, I love getting to know you guys. That's like, that to me is like, I'm like, you know, a little kid, and selfishly, I love that because it gives me the opportunity to be a part of it in a special way, because I don't just watch you guys play. I actually know who you are, and I build relationships with you guys, build a lot of friendships. So it's different for me when I get to talk to you after a game and if you guys win and whatnot. So I would say my favorite game, man, that's tough. It would probably have to be the Camping World Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of things that I enjoy, but the Camping World Bowl, I was down in Florida because I cover Jacksonville and I fly back and forth. So I was down with the Jaguars, and they made the announcement, and I said, okay, so there's going to be all these media people for Syracuse talking about the game, but who's going to be here? And I drove to Orlando, stood outside of the Camping World Bowl because I used to cover games there with the United Football League, and Joe Theismann was a part of it, is looking to become an owner, and I met a bunch of guys with the Tuskers. So I went to the grounds of the Camping World Stadium and made the announcement standing there. And it was right in the parking lot where I interviewed John Gruden. It was right in the parking lot where I talked to Jay Gruden, Doug Flutie, Dominique Rhodes, who won a Super Bowl. So I met a lot of people that people had known in the game. And so to be there and to say that and to have that moment meant a lot to me. And my dad will say this. I asked the question that provoked Eric Dungy to cry. the first question about his career and not just the game. So my dad framed it and he said, think about all the defensive linemen that ran after Dungy, and you're the only one that made him cry. So,
that's awesome.
So, yeah, and I got to know his family, and I got to do a thing called Project Dungy. When he finished up, it was a surprise to him with his sister Emma, his brother Matt, his dad Tim, and his mom Cindy. And it was before his dad passed away. So it was a very meaningful thing for me to do, and I loved it. I got to bring that to him, and Eric's a true inspiration. So I loved that game. I loved it. So many things about that game. My second one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I would say that was a big game too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge because West Virginia, you guys have just beaten them, I don't know, I think 4 times in a row, but they keep talking.
Yeah.
So, but the next one I have for you, I'm going to keep it with football. Unfortunately, he's not going to be there anymore, but you're a defensive lineman. Vincent Reynolds meant what to you?
I've known Coach Reynolds for, like, even telling him about my story as a recruit till my last few games there. He's been nothing but awesome. You know, he's been a great leader, somebody to look up to. Thought it was about being men. Thought it was about being better players, how to carry ourselves. He was tremendous, you know. So having the opportunity to know a man like him, you know, with his background, with his struggles, be able to understand my struggles and what I had to go through and what I've been through. He's like one of the few people that really sat down and told me, you've been through some SHIT, you know, so, and he means that because he's been through something, you know, and he understood that, you know, so that's the kind of relationship we had. He used to call me Unc. I call we can call each other, you know, so it was just great having that person and having him in my life, you know.
Why did he call you Unc?
Guys called me because I'm usually I look older because of my beard and everything. I look older than everybody on the D-line would, so he would call me Unc, you know. So that's that kind of relationship we had.
Nice tribute to Vincent Reynolds. I like that. What's your final one for me?
Final one. If you weren't doing this right now, what would you be doing?
It's a great question. A lot of stuff that I like working on. All has to do with the letter S for some reason. But songwriting, singing, screenwriting, and stand-up comedy. All S. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Kingsley. You and I got to get to know each other a little bit better. We'll talk off the air. But your guy here has dated some interesting women, which has created for me a very, very deep chest of material to dig up and dig through.
I'm looking forward to that.
My last one for you, Kingsley, is okay. I'm going to put you on an island. You got to live on this island for a month. You got food, you got everything you need, but you can pick 3 people to live on the island with. You can pick 1 movie star, 1 music star, and 1 comedian.
All right.
On the island with?
Movie star. I want The Rock. I want my 3 best celebrities. I just bring them with me. I want The Rock, Will Smith, and who else? The Rock, Will Smith, and it was only those 2 but
a comedian.
Music. Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. Probably Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Bring Kevin Hart with us, you know.
All right. Fair enough. I like that. The Rock knows him well, and then Will Smith. Those are all choices that I would venture to make myself, especially Will, because I watched Fresh Prince growing up. I listened to all of his music, got his CDs, and, of course, still paying attention now. And then and he's incredible. And Kevin Hart is just him and I think the same on a lot of things. And like scary movies, just a lot of stuff. We think the same. So it's funny. But that coming from Kingsley Jonathan, and he is your 2022 NFL draft prospect coming out of Syracuse on the defensive line. Kingsley, thank you so much for taking this expanded opportunity with me here. You and I have gotten to talk before. This was huge, and I would love to have you back and love to chronicle you as you get ready for the draft and all the way through. Would love to keep the conversation open, and I'm very, very grateful that you took the time that you took today.
That sounds good, man. Great to be here, and thank you guys for having me, baby.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
All right, bye.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Café Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the southern tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make your way over to the Millhouse Market Tuesdays through Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And make sure you download the app so you have everything at your fingertips, from their homemade breads and desserts to quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our taste buds and ingrained in our community, the Millhouse Market is second to none. Whether you're a mile away or 30 miles away, they're worth the drive every time to their general store with local products from local companies. Perfect for the Christmas and holiday season for your gift giving, to go out there and get homemade soaps as well as syrups that are made right here in our community, honey that's made in our community, jewelry, as well as clothing, children's toys, and so much more. Seasonings for the kitchen, all there at the general store at Millhouse Market. Of course, they're indoor dining with a bistro menu that changes every weekend to keep you coming back for more and trying something new, and their drive-up window to grab your food and go. The Millhouse Market, absolutely, positively worth the drive every single time. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, it is time here, and it's some expanded time that we have here with you to bring you the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. It's where we're going to be this week. We're going to be celebrating Liverpool High School's Warriors boys basketball team, and I'll be there with Ryan Blackwell and the players coming up this Wednesday, December 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the pizza side. So come out and see us at Avicolli's right down the road, walking distance from Liverpool High School. Come and see the Liverpool Warriors boys basketball team. Head coach Ryan Blackwell, who's a Syracuse Orange basketball alum, and myself, Dan Tortora, will be hanging out with his team at Avicolli's this Wednesday, December 22nd for a live show starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's. Here this morning, we pick a new topic every single Tuesday to round out the show and then give the ingredients to success. I would say the topic is to give and not look to receive. To give and not look to receive. Because we give something. Sometimes it's hard some people it's hard for them to give. Some people it's hard for them to give without wondering, what do I get back? What's going to be mine, right? So today's topic is to give and not look to receive, right? To give your love and not look to just gain something back. To give your time and not look to just gain something back. Listen, for me, I find that going through adversity, trials, and tribulations in my life, when I give something, I'm thinking, I better get it back. I better get it back. I better get it back. But that's not how God gives, right? Now, am I saying to stay in relationships where it's one-sided, be it personal or professional? No. What I'm saying to you is, when you give a gift this holiday season, don't give a gift wondering what you're going to get back. Don't tell somebody, I bought you something just so they'll buy you something. Maybe you bought them something and you give it to them and maybe they didn't buy you anything, right? Maybe you hand it to them and they're like, oh man, I didn't get you anything. Okay, well, that's fine. I didn't get it to get something back. I got it to give this to you. Here you go. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And I'm a big I celebrate Christmas. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ, my Savior, our Savior. And so to me, I happily, give gifts. And you don't tell somebody how many gifts you got. Oh, I got you 7 gifts. Because maybe they got you 3. Maybe they got you 4. So now they're thinking, well, I got to go buy 3 more. No. How about this? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. From me to you. Right? To give and not be focused on receiving. To not buy someone a gift to get a gift. To not do something to get something. A lot of times in our society, we do something to get rewarded. Oh, I just gave you something, so what are you going to give me? I just bought you a gift, what are you going to give me? I just did this favor for you, what are you going to do for me? And you wonder, are people giving to give or are they giving to get? And to me, you have to give to give and not give to get. And that to me is crucially important. To give and not give to get. Because if you give to get, you're not really giving. You're creating a stipulation where you get to benefit. So I know it's hard to give your love, not knowing if it's going to be reciprocated. To give your time, not knowing if it's going to be appreciated. I know there's gifts that you can't wrap, like love, like time, like energy, that you don't know if you're going to get back. But you have to be willing to try. Because if we don't give our time, our energy, and our love, we can never really attain what we're hoping to attain, right? If we don't give energy into something, it's not going to get done. If we don't give our time to something, it's not going to get done. If we don't give our love to something, then we're not putting ourselves out there. We're not trying. We have to try. And I mean, you don't have to technically try, but if you don't, what's the benefit in that? What's the benefit of not trying? Well, Dan, if I don't try, I don't get hurt. That's true. You also don't advance and you don't have love. If you don't try, your dreams are never accomplished. Well, Dan, I don't have any dreams. I don't care. Well, then you're going to live a life of mediocrity. Without dreams, without aspirations, without goals, you're just kind of wandering the earth. You're not going anywhere. You're not achieving anything. Without love, we're not really alive. Without effort and enthusiasm, we're not getting anywhere. So my hope for you is to try. My prayer for you is to try. Because without trying, without giving, without putting ourselves out there, we don't know what we're going to get. And we say, well, Dan, I want to see them put something out there. I'm not going to put it out there. Well, what if they thought the same way that you did? What if the person you're trying to love says, well, I'm not going to love them unless they love me first. I'm not going to say I love you unless they say I love you first. I'm not going to go see them unless they come see me. What if they said the same thing you said? Then everybody would be standing still. See, it's easy to be selfish and see things from your point of view, but if you flip it the other way and think, well, what if the other person did the exact same thing? What if they didn't put their time in unless you did, their effort in unless you did? What if they didn't buy you a gift unless you got them something? Now it's been flipped upon you, and now you know what it feels like, and now nobody bought anybody anything, nobody went anywhere, nobody did anything, nobody accomplished anything, nobody loved anything, nobody gave anything. Well, Dan, if nobody gave anything, they can't get hurt. They also can't get loved. When you don't give anything, you don't gain anything. See, when I give a gift, the gain for me is the smile on your face. It's you knowing that I thought about you, that I care about you, that I listen to you. Because I don't just buy gifts. I try to be very sentimental and very specific. I don't want to buy you a gift card. If that's really what you want, and that's all that you want, and whatever, and I have no idea what to get you. But here's the thing. I like to buy a gift. Something that shows you I care about you. Something that you look at and go, wow, only Dan could get me this. Only Dan would have remembered that. I want you to look at that gift and remember that I care about you. Because things come and go. Material things are here one day, gone tomorrow. You can't take them to heaven with you. But if every time you look at that, you go, wow, he remembered. He found that. I've never seen that hat before. I never thought about that at all. He knows I love blankets, but how did he find this one that seems to have all these things on it that I love so much? Because I listen and I care. So in this season of giving, let's remember two things. Every day of the year should be a season of giving because that's how God calls us to live. Two, when you give a gift, don't look to get anything in return. Just give. Just try. Just do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Because the greatest gift that I can get is not the thing that you wrap for me and that you give to me. It's seeing you smile and seeing you know that I really love you and I genuinely thought about you and I genuinely care. And I listened. That to me is the gift. So, the ingredients to success is that when you give, give. Don't give to get. Don't wonder what's in it for you. Just do something nice for somebody else. And I promise you, that'll pay off more dividends than you could have ever imagined. With that being said, for Avicolli's, in this Ingredients to Success, on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Go out and see Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York every Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, drink responsibly. There's the casual pizza side, and there where you could order anything off of their menu there on the pizza side, the salads and the veal and the chicken and everything. You can order all that stuff and kind of hang out on the casual side. And then you can go to the fine dining side that's connected right there at Avicolli's. 2 different dining rooms going on at the same time. And connected to the fine dining is their indoor bar, which you can enjoy yourself as well. And of course, for takeout, delivery, and catering, you can call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. With that being said, we'll take our final step aside and wrap up today's show right after this fast break inside of the Cafe Football studios. This is Wake Up Call, and you are amazing.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Football offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cubal needs. Cafe Cubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening. You're watching worldwide on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connecting to the show, we thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I appreciate that every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you can hang out in our archives on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, YouTube, and iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, to get our archive to go back and listen to over 1,500 broadcasts. And, of course, a special thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, where you can order by going to maandpaspopcorn.com every single day of the week and ordering online in any one of the 50 states, and they will ship it right to your doorstep. Make sure you order it now so you'll have it to get your popcorn ready for New Year's. maandpaspopcorn.com. That's maandpaspopcorn.com. And, of course, make sure you check out Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT for our giveaway. Every time I post one of their kettle corns, all you have to do is reply to that post with your favorite family Christmas memory, and you're entered into our free giveaway that we'll be announcing on Christmas Day. That one special winner who gives us their best Christmas story is going to be going home with a very special gift from Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. So make sure you do that today and check out our social media. Progressive Dental, Avicolli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, the Lemoyne Dolphins, Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard for all they do here in our community and beyond. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. Wednesdays are Dolphin time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. to start off Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have the opportunity of bringing you a very special piece spotlighting Lemoyne. And every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we're doing that. Every first and third Wednesday of each month, we're spending that time with AD and DT, where Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, are bringing you a special focus every first and third Wednesday with a sit-down conversation with the Athletics Director of Lemoyne. And every second and fourth Wednesday, we are bringing you the Dolphin Dive with student athletes, coaches, and staff members telling their stories of why they chose Lemoyne, what they feel about Lemoyne, and so much more. Coming up this Wednesday, December 22nd, in Christmas week, Ellie Summers joins us for a very special Dolphin Dive. And then you can find out more by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe. And, of course, you can find our Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com and more information at lemoynedolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood Pacers. The Marywood Pacers here with us every Friday to round out the week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and special exclusive segments entitled Pacer Pride, because that's what it's all about with my alma mater. You can check those out Fridays during Wake Up Call to round out the show with Executive Director of Athletics Pat Murphy, as well as coaches and players at Marywood University, speaking on why Marywood and the importance of bringing people into a community that I love so very much. You can find all of our Pacer Pride specials by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe. You can also find it on the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com and subscribe there. And of course, find out more information by going to marywoodpacers.com. With that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the show. I want to thank my incredible guests of Syracuse past and present, Dee Brown and Kingsley Jonathan. I want to wish Kingsley the absolute best as he gets set for the NFL draft coming up in 2022. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you to Avicolli's for the ingredients of success. We'll see you at Avicolli's tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Liverpool Warriors boys basketball. And, of course, we'll see you on Wake Up Call in the morning. In the meantime, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. And God bless, no stress, do your best. And be well with your Christmas shopping. Please be safe out there. And please, folks, put the violence away. Put the negativity away. Let's be good to each other. It's what God asked us to do, and it's not that